So I don't know very much about horse racing. However, I think about the trifecta. I remember being at horse racing once and there was people betting and talking trifecta. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but tri must mean three, right?
Sure.
So I think of us as partners, right? With our client, a lender, and the realtor.
Absolutely.
Being a team and how important that team is that we all work together. Very important, especially
Absolutely.
most people don't buy a house every day or
Right.
sell a house every day. So having good people in your stable. Oh, do you see how I tied that together?
That was impressive.
Okay, so here we are with Real Estate Talk with Tracy Venturi. Tigo's out, so I said we're going to fill in, and I'm going to have one of my favorite guests, Joanna Rushing with Primary Residential Mortgage, here located in Albuquerque. Welcome, Joanna.
Thank you so much. I'm like super honored to be here. Thank you.
I'm super excited for us to chat about lending and real estate. So this is episode 554 of Albuquerque Real Estate Talk, and I'm so excited. So Joanna, it's first weekend of Balloon Fiesta time.
My favorite time of the year.
Yeah, we've had great weather, and hopefully we'll have great weather for the weekend. We've got a lot of people coming in town. So if you need your Mexican food fix, I'm sorry, it's going to be a long wait.
It's, a little brutal right now.
Yeah. For the next 2 weeks, you might have to choose something else. So let's talk about lending. It's been in the news a lot, right?
Yes,
Rates.
it has.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, rates. Man, the best topic ever.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're here. So what is going on with rates right now?
They're on a slow descent down, but it's slow and it's jagged. So like it goes down a little bit and then it goes back up, and then it goes down a little bit, it goes back up. So we're in that right now with all the job numbers coming out and then the Fed cutting rates. It really has given us a little bit of a wobble.
Yeah.
But the overall trajectory is downward right now.
Which has been great.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot more buyers in the market.
A lot more, yeah. And it's getting more affordable to buy a house. I actually just was pricing something out for somebody the other day, and I've got on a 20-year refinance to pull cash out even. I think this gal was going to be able to get a 5.5% interest rate with only like a point buy down. It was pretty spectacular.
Wow.
It was a 20-year term.
And is it going to change her monthly payment?
It's going to change her monthly payment because she's pulling cash out of a property that doesn't have a mortgage on it. So she's going to get a mortgage, but it's going to be a reasonable mortgage, which we haven't seen a reasonable mortgage in a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
makes
a
a big
great
difference.
story. Okay, so the up and down. So when we're talking about people who are thinking of buying a home and they're looking at interest rates, we see sometimes people say, well, I got online and I saw blah, 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 and I'm going to shop rates. And tell me about that a little bit.
You know, rate shopping is always a really sensitive topic because on one hand, I'm of the opinion that you should get a good deal, right? And I'm never trying to cheat anybody. I always want to give them a good deal. But interest rates are like any other consumer product. So we borrow literally billions of dollars on our warehouse lines from giant banks, and then we package them into $100,000 chunks basically and lend them out. And so we have to put a markup on what we borrowed the money for and then are able to then turn around and lend it to you. Just like Walmart does with toothbrushes, right? They're not going to sell you the toothbrush for 25 cents, even though they got it for that. They're going to sell it to you with their markup. But it's not just about the rate. It's going to be about all the other things that go into it too. The rate's a big part of it, but that low interest rate that you find online from some random lender means nothing if they can't get you to the closing table.
Right.
So there's this other part of it that says, okay, well, maybe the interest rate is going to be a little bit different, a little bit higher, maybe slightly more fees. But as a result, you're going to get a better product. You're going to get a loan officer who knows what they're doing, who's going to help you when things go south, who's going to make sure that they're communicating with everybody, answering the phone after hours, that kind of stuff. But we're still going to be offering competitive rates. And I always tell clients when they ask me if they should shop, which I think is hilarious that they're asking me if they should shop. I always say, if you want to shop, absolutely, please be my guest and shop. But understand that if you find something, if you're going out to shop for anything else, if you go to REI and you find a bike there and the salesman is helpful and you feel like you're getting a good deal, do you really need to go out there and shop? Maybe. Or you can just buy what you're already happy with and then get a great product from a great salesperson and somebody who's actually going to take care of you going forward.
So one of the things that I think about when people talk about shopping rates is they don't really understand that rates can fluctuate by an hour, by a minute, right? Mm-hmm. So they might call, and in my opinion, and I'm going out on a limb here. In my opinion, if you call a lender and they say, hey, yeah, my rate is this, without getting your information and knowing your credit score and knowing your goal and what programs might work best for you, they're doing you a disservice.
Absolutely. Oh, I couldn't agree more. It's a complete disservice because you're not actually giving them good information. And I'm not in the business of giving people bad information. I 100% want my clients to get not only a good deal, but actually get to the finish line. And so it can also change, like you said, minute to minute. I literally this morning, I was clicking on locking in a client. And as I hit lock, I got an alert that pricing had changed. And I had to wait until pricing had updated, and then I was able to lock.
Right.
And it fluctuates because the market is constantly fluctuating. And so it's not uncommon for us to have rate changes halfway through the day, and then another time, maybe the next morning or the next afternoon. It's constant.
Right, which makes shopping rates for a consumer difficult because
Absolutely.
if a different lender gives them a rate right now and then they call you tomorrow, that rate they heard yesterday could be completely different also, right?
It's not actually apples to apples at that point.
Right. And then we know that a lot of the lenders who aren't really in area don't have the same amount of loan programs available.
Sure.
Right. One of the things I know that you've talked about with us is your renovation loan. And I thought it was really interesting because there's a wide variety of uses for that type of loan. Tell us about it.
Yeah, renovation loans are really cool because you can do almost anything with them as long as you qualify. And the qualification for them is virtually the same as any other type of loan. So you make the same 3.5% down payment on an FHA version of the renovation loan as you do if you didn't do a renovation loan on an FHA product. But what you can do is you can actually have the bank lend you money to do repairs, renovations. I've even had clients build a playroom, multiple new bedrooms, a new bathroom, add on huge things. And then I've had clients do as small as just upgrading the electrical work. But what we do is we lend them the money to do that work for them and leave it in escrow. And so they get money for something that doesn't exist yet.
So on a purchase, they get the money to purchase the house, plus there's money left for them to actually do the updates or upgrades or additions.
Yeah, the easiest way I've found to do it is I tell them you get a contractor who goes out to the property and says, okay, this is how much the work is going to cost. Let's call it $50,000. Then we give that same contractor bid to the appraiser, and the appraiser goes out and says, okay, this house with the work described in this bid is going to be worth X amount of dollars when all's said and done. And that's what we base your loan amount on, and we give you the money to go ahead and pay that contractor for that work that's going to be done. It's a slam dunk if you need updates, renovations, anything like that.
Yeah, it's great, especially if you're a home seller and you have a home that needs some renovation and you want to sell it, but you're not sure. I've seen you do a great flyer for in-home and marketing those properties, right?
Yep. We want to empower sellers to be able to sell their houses that maybe aren't in pristine condition, which is totally fine. But we also want to empower buyers to understand that you don't necessarily have to buy a pristine move-in ready home in order for it to be exactly what you want. Sometimes you can go find the ugliest house on the block in the neighborhood you want to be. We do a renovation loan, and then all of a sudden it's exactly what you want, exactly where you want, even though it didn't exist yet.
That's awesome. So it's been a heavy start here, right? I've been hitting you hard on this lending stuff. So I have a little diversion here.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so one of our local home builders brought by a little package of goodies for us the other day. And yesterday in the office, several of us were trying these Pop Rocks.
Okay.
Do you know what Pop Rocks are?
Yeah, of course.
Have some Pop Rocks.
Okay.
They're going to sound so good in the microphone.
I can't wait. They're going to sound so good in my mouth, too.
So these are popping strawberry candy.
Oh, that's a good crackle.
It brings me back to my childhood.
Right?
Are we having
really
fun?
does. Yes, I'm having a blast.
Okay. So the
Real
other
estate is fun.
It is fun. So the other thing they brought was gobstoppers.
Oh, look at those.
And it makes me think of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right?
Of course.
While we're cackling away. So Tigo put out a lot of stats this week. And one of the things that he was talking about is that 51% of all active listings have taken a price reduction. You have your mouth closed. They all pop already?
No, they're still going at it.
Yeah. 51% of the active listings have taken a price reduction, which is the highest we've seen in Albuquerque. So we're going into what we consider our fall and when our real estate market flattens out a little bit and things. But our prices are holding steady. And when you look at year over year, we're still doing fine seasonally. And when you look at the rest of the country, it varies a lot. In the far northeast part of the United States, they're seeing bigger price appreciation than other parts of the country. But we're still doing really, really good. Homes that haven't sold, so we talk a lot of times about homes that have sold and how long they sat on the market before they got an acceptable offer. Homes that haven't sold right now have been sitting on the market for 87 days on average.
Wow.
So that's gone up quite a bit before they go under contract. I know Tigo loves to talk about statistics, so I'm trying to throw some stats in here for him because he's out this week. So that's my Tigo minute right there.
Great.
Got
I think
the
you nailed
Statomatic.
it.
And I still have more of these Pop Rocks here, so they're getting stuck to my hand.
I went for the whole
Yeah, I'm
kahuna
going to have
at the
to lick
beginning.
them off here pretty soon. So what else is going on this week in real estate and in lending?
Well, the big topic is that the government shut down today, so that was really fun.
Yes, and this airs tomorrow, so
Okay,
it'll
so
be
the government
Thursday.
shut down yesterday.
So by the time we run this, we'll even know more about how it's looking.
Absolutely. For lending, it more or less is business as usual. HUD's still operating, VA's still operating, the kind of stuff that we rely on. The biggest impact is going to be on clients who maybe are furloughed at this point. And so the biggest kind of thing about lending is we have to make sure we can confirm what we call your ability to repay. And if you're not making money, if you're not being paid by your job, then you're not just demonstrating that ability to repay. So that's one of the big things that's happening right now that's acute. But the other stuff is that we really are trying to get rates down. They're finally coming in that direction. I'm just thrilled. I'm not quoting people rates with an 8 handle anymore. We're mostly in the mid to low 6s for most of them. And with kind of pristine conditions, we've even got some people in the 5s. But
You're talking credit scores and their overall debt to income ratios and things.
Exactly.
Because when we quote interest rates in the low 6s generally, we're talking about somebody with good credit, their debt to income is good.
Correct. Yeah. So we look when we price out, when people call me and say, what's your rate? There's really not a good way to answer that question because rates are determined by so many different factors. So when I talk to a client, not only do I want to know what kind of credit score we're looking at, and there's all different ranges, right? I also want to know what kind of down payment you're planning to make, if you're using a bond program, if we're getting down payment assistance. I also want to know roughly what your debt to income ratio is. There is a difference between being over 50% debt to income ratio and under 50% debt to income ratio.
And what about employment?
Employment's a big one too. It all depends on how you're paid, how long you've been at that job. We have programs that can cover a really wide swath of people, but within those programs, there's a lot of variation and a lot of nuance. So when somebody says, what's your rate? I always have to start with, well, what's your situation first?
Right.
And once I get a basic idea of what their situation is, then we can give them at least a range of rates. But as we already discussed, those fluctuate constantly. I was talking to a client this morning and they went under contract, but they're contingent on the sale of their house that they haven't put on the market yet. Well, I quoted her the rates today and I said, but keep in mind that these will fluctuate over the time. And when we lock in your rate, it's only for a set duration of time. So the last thing I want to do is lock you in on a 30-day lock, and then it takes you 30 days to sell your house, and now you need a 30-day extension. Well, that rate is complete trash now, unfortunately.
Right.
So it really depends on kind of the whole picture. How long do I need to lock for? What's your credit score? How much money are you putting down? What's your job like? You're a unique person. Your rate is going to be unique also as a result.
Perfect. So speaking of unique, so Joanna Rushing, primary residential mortgage, we affectionately say PRMI.
Absolutely.
We let that roll off the tongue all the time. But I want to talk about you because you said last time you were on our show, somebody called you and they needed help with lending. And that's
Yes.
awesome. But I want to let people know you're also a very talented musician.
Oh, no.
And a guitar player. And if you follow her on Facebook, Joanna Rushing, you'll see that she just posted a beautiful song, You Will Be Found, from Dear Evan Hansen.
I did.
And you said, I need a new microphone. It's not great quality, but you put yourself out there, and that's awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
So make sure to find Joanna on Facebook. I don't know where else.
I'm on Instagram too, but yeah, mostly Facebook. That's where the majority of it is.
Okay. So, and that you just got a new guitar.
I did, yes. It's a
That's
beautiful guitar.
very exciting. So I know all about Martin guitars because my sister has one that's like a 1946 Martin,
Oh, amazing.
and it's got an amazing tone.
I bet it does.
But you just got yourself a Martin.
I did, yeah. I just got a Martin. It's like a dream guitar for me. So it's sable wood, and it sounded like just absolute heaven. It was,
Yeah.
But now I need a mic to really do it justice.
Yeah. So we look forward to finding more of your music online.
Sounds
and,
good.
Getting to know you that way is awesome. When we're in business together and all of the community here, it's nice to remember that people are people. And you've always done such a great job for our clients. So I'm so excited to have you here sitting with me today.
Well, I really appreciate that. And I want to piggyback off of that. I think we were talking about rates online, and I think that that's another thing you lose when you go to look at rates online. You lose that community aspect and that familiar aspect and that old school networking and being able to trust the person that you're referred to because there's a personal relationship that's involved there. I'm in your guys' office all the time. I'm working with your guys' real estate brokers who are here constantly because we have a good working relationship. And as a result, I know that my clients are going to be taken care of by your brokers, and they know that their clients are going to be taken care of me as their mortgage lender. And that's something that's not tangible in a number form, but it's so invaluable, especially to the right client who maybe is a first-time home buyer and needs a little bit of hand-holding, or who's going to call me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a week, which I tell clients all the time, you can call me every day until we close, and then you can call me after we close, because I'm here to help you get to the finish line, understand what you're doing, and get to the point where you're signing your life away at closing with a smile on your face, not thinking, gosh, I got screwed.
Right. That was beautiful. So you were telling me about a first-time home buyer experience that you had recently.
Yeah.
We've got Sam, our producer, here, and he was just saying before we started, hey, tell me about being a first-time home buyer, because I've never bought a house before, and I always love to hear, because he's working his way there, I promise you, he
Good
is.
for you, Sam.
But he's like, I keep hearing about it, but the more I hear about being a first-time home buyer and what it takes, and give me a real-life example.
Sure. So first-time home buyers are some of my favorite clients in the world because they're so excited. And we do this every day, right? Some of the shine has worn off. It's not as exciting as it was probably the very first time, right? Maybe. But what's great about first-time home buyers is they're jazzed. Like, they're so excited. And a lot of first-time home buyers have a lot of misconceptions about what you can and can't do. I have people all the time who say, well, I need 20% down, right? No, you don't need 20% down. I've got clients who get into houses for $500, $1,000. Like, that's all it takes sometimes if you qualify. I had some clients recently. It was this adorable couple. They were just the best. But they had questions after questions after questions after questions. And I was so excited because they were really insightful questions. They wanted to make sure they understood what was going on. And I was able to help get them to a point where they were really, really just excited and thrilled by the time we got to closing. So the story goes like this. I referred them by a former client of mine. They were green as could be, had no clue what they were doing. And I said, that's fine. Let's sit down and let's talk about it. So I had them come into my office, and we talked for probably at least an hour about what they can and can't do, what rates look like, what programs look like, what down payments look like, what the whole picture is. I tried to give them a really comprehensive idea. They ended up pausing for a little bit because they really wanted to take their time, found a realtor online, even though I told them I'd be happy to refer them to somebody I work with. They found a realtor online, and it did not go great. And they got a really bad taste in their mouth. And they ended up terminating over some inspections, I think it was. Well, they came back to me because I stayed in touch with them. And a lot of times whenever this happens, there's something else out there that's going to end up being better. I've seen it a million times. And they said, well, okay, we're going to try and find a realtor that maybe fits a little bit better with what we're doing. They found a different realtor. This realtor was like exactly what they needed and came at it with the exact same sort of like perspective that I did, where we really wanted to help these guys. And it was amazing to see the difference a good real estate agent makes as opposed to one who maybe wasn't meeting their needs. And to see that with a real estate agent and a lender who were working in tandem, who both had the same goal, and to have these buyers who were so excited, it ended up being like an absolutely beautiful process. They just closed maybe a week or so ago. They were so excited, and they were coming at it with just like a brand new breadth of knowledge to be able to do this. And it ended up being an extremely positive experience for them, even though it had started out a little bit shaky at the beginning.
So what comes to mind when I think about first-time buyers is they don't even know what to ask, right? They're so afraid to even pick up the phone because they don't know what question to even start with, right? So don't be afraid, right?
Absolutely.
Pick up the phone or get online. That's where a lot of people who don't know what to say start, but really pick up the phone. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation, because the more you talk about what you don't know and what your fears are and just the process, the more you learn and the more comfortable you become. So you do know how to move forward.
Well,
right?
and I think it goes back to what I was saying before, that if you're in that position where you're a first-time home buyer and you don't even know what to ask yet, you're going to really benefit by having somebody who's helping you that's on your team and that is going to say, hey, you can ask them questions. I don't care. I'll answer them.
Right.
You can ask things that make no sense, and I'll make them make sense for you.
And I won't make you feel stupid for asking.
Well, I always joke because my first day at a mortgage, and my first mortgage job, which was 11 years ago, I was coming from waiting tables and working at Starbucks. And my first day, I was already hired. I said the words, "What is a mortgage?" And my boss looked at me like he had no idea what he'd just gotten himself into. But I always tell my clients that, especially my first-time home buyers, because I don't think you can come up with a dumber question than that.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who asked it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So ask me all your silly questions. Come up with me with, I don't actually know what a survey is. I don't know what title work is. Great. Let me help you. I'm here to educate. I take a very educational approach. And I want you to get to the end knowing what you got into.
So I don't know very much about horse racing. However, I think about the trifecta. I remember being at horse racing once, and there was people betting and talking trifecta, and I'm like, I don't know what that means, but tri must mean 3, right?
Sure.
So I think of us as partners, right, with our client, a lender, and the realtor.
Absolutely.
Being a team, and how important that team is, that we all work together. Very important, especially.
Absolutely.
Most people don't buy a house every day or sell a house every day. So having good people in your stable. Oh, did you see how I tied that together?
That was impressive.
That was just off the cuff too.
So good.
Yeah. So having the right team, the right people in your stable makes a huge difference.
It really does.
Okay, so now let's talk about something else. Your favorite restaurants.
Ooh.
Or your favorite things about the metro area. Like maybe not a restaurant. My favorite this week, and I haven't been there yet, is the Sandia Bar in Corrales, because Christian Manzer just started the restaurant there. So they have a little restaurant space. So the Sandia Bar's been doing food trucks.
Okay.
And it's still nice out. They have great outdoor space there. It was all remodeled. It's beautiful. So I can't wait to get there and check out Christian's menu. He's the one who also has flat irons.
I've heard nothing but great stuff about Flatiron.
yeah.
I still haven't been there.
Yeah, and they moved recently.
Okay.
I saw they were moving, so I'm not sure where they're at, but I know that he posted that they were moving. So I know that, plus he's also running the Nativo Garduños.
Oh, nice.
Inside, is it Garduños?
It's in the Nativo. That's right by my house.
I hear that's all new too, so it's all very exciting. So tell me something that's memorable for you. Don't tell me it's dirty bourbon.
No, God, no, it's not dirty bourbon. No shade to dirty bourbon. It's just not my scene.
I was just teasing. That was meant to make you think.
Let's see. So I really like the restaurant in Los Poblanos, Campo. That's probably my favorite, like, fancy restaurant. They also have a outstanding whiskey selection if you are a whiskey drinker. They've got some rare stuff you won't find anywhere else.
Wow.
And it's delightful.
Sorry for all you people who want to go there right now because it's Balloon Fiesta week.
Don't go right now.
Yeah.
Go in a week or two after Balloon
It's going to be
Fiesta.
slammed, right?
Exactly. But just go afterwards. It's still beautiful.
Yeah.
And then let's see. I like craft beer a lot. I like Bosky Brewing a lot. But I also really like Canteen Brew House because they have an outstanding patio. And there's not a lot of traffic. A lot of the places that we have patios here, you hear road noise constantly. Canteens is tucked away in that.
Where is it?
It's down off of Candelaria and like the freeway, basically.
Oh, okay.
In that industrial area.
Oh, yeah.
But it's beautiful, just like stunningly beautiful. And their beer's great. And they have excellent Frito pie. So there's my
Good to
shout
know.
out for that.
Okay. So, but Bosky Brewing is everywhere.
Bosky Brewing's everywhere, yes. They have
Yeah.
outstanding beer, good food. They just updated their food menu at a few of their locations.
Oh, good.
And they have these crispy potatoes with like this jalapeno queso that's to die for. So
That sounds good.
go check out the crispy potatoes at Bosky Brewing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we've talked enough lending.
Sounds
I've
good to
still
me.
got some pop rocks for after we finish the show.
I'm impressed with those gobstoppers because they're tiny. I feel
Yeah.
like the Willy Wonka gobstoppers were,
They were.
but Willy Wonka's fictional, so I guess there's that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me
Thank you for having
today.
me.
Always good to chat about lending and just all about Albuquerque. We've got such a
Absolutely.
great place, great community. For all of you that are here and listening, have a great Balloon Fiesta week and call us for all your real estate and lending needs.
Absolutely.
Tell people how to reach you.
So I'm Joanna Rushing. I'm with Primary Residential Mortgage. Easiest way to reach me is on my cell phone, 505-917-6102. You can text me, call me. I'm happy to help.
And what's your license number?
My license number is 142-7054.
You're supposed to say that, aren't you?
I think it's mostly in writing, but yeah, 142-7054.
Hey, at least you know it. All
I
right.
do.
Thanks for listening. We look forward to helping you and have a great day.
Sounds great. Thanks.